Hi, and welcome to FrazlCast. Climb aboard the GNOME train.
Chugga, 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 chugga.
Please make sure to keep your limbs and experimental instruments inside the train at all times. And now, on with the show.
A podcast by a Blizzard fan gnome about World of Warcraft and geeky stuff. I promise you, they do talk about the World of Warcraft. They just go off the rails sometimes.
Well, I'm Frasley, and on this Valentine's Day, I already had a date with my first love, coffee.
Okay.
Actually, no, I did get kissed by a dolphin once.
You got kissed by a dolphin?
Yeah.
Oh my god.
I've got pictures.
Oh god.
I never knew you were so adventurous, Frasley.
Well, then I'm also dating World of Warcraft. I'm dating Amazon Alexa. I'm dating the Google Assistant, and I'm just all over the place.
Just all over, yeah.
But I am joined by Kai SharkyBoi and MetalXperl.
Howdy.
Hello.
So I'm still glad to have both of you here. It's always fun on a Thursday to get together to record and just have a fun time.
Days are fun.
Oh yeah, I'm really excited about this. Actually, I'm really excited.
I love that.
Mm-hmm.
And before we get into this, I wanted to do a quick bit of housekeeping just to kind of. It wouldn't be fair this week to start without at least acknowledging something that came up.
Okay.
On Tuesday, Activision Blizzard laid off 8% of employees in a massive restructuring, and I've heard estimates that it is over 800 people.
Oof.
Yeah.
Yeah. I thought it was 200 for some reason.
Oh no, it was they said around 8%. And it's really weird because I've been as soon as it happened, I think I was already playing and I was in game and I was on my CTR tune, and immediately everybody just started. It was two-sided pretty much. There wasn't really anywhere in the middle. I would say on your case, Frasley, I'm kind of where you're at, but everybody was either totally against it or totally for it. It was so weird. And it's people are either man, that sucks. I hope they're doing okay. And, I totally feel for the people, or it's, wow, Blizzard is such bad people for doing that.
Yeah.
And this is not the first time Blizzard's done this. In 2012, they laid off 600 people. And I'm still wrestling with what happened on Tuesday. My heart goes out to all who lost their jobs. I don't have anything to really add to it other than I agree with you, Metal. I'm not in either camp. It was rough, and I actually did not do the fast report this week because I just could not get myself to do a report. It was going to be on Love, and Love is in the air, and it was it wasn't this week. So all those jokes and stories are going to be saved for the next Love is in the Air next
Definitely,
year.
yeah.
Okay, yeah. Actually, if I might add something, what I think is kind of interesting about the whole thing is apparently there's a big spotlight on Activision and the head of Activision and everything. And I don't know if I'm just out of the loop or anything, but I haven't really heard anything about Activision commenting much on the layoffs. At least as far as my end, for some reason. It kind of sounds a little shady, maybe? I don't know about big business, but I don't know. It feels like Activision's hiding something.
It is not I would say from a PR-wise, and I'm actually studying public relations right now for my next course, doing flashcards actually in public relations the day that this happened. And I'm thinking it wasn't the best PR move, at least wise, to open up saying this was our record year. And then, by the way, here it is. And there are definitely nerves that are understandably raw amongst the community. I mean, and I've seen all of the stuff. I'm trying to avoid as many hot takes as much as I can. I mean, and it's in the speculation, I don't want to jump on the train of, I've seen people say some very rude things about the CEO. And it's one of those, I'm I don't want to speculate there. There's plenty of people who are going to be speculating on
Yeah,
that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like I was saying, I was in the CTR Guild chat, and there were people that were roasting the CEO, and I'm just I don't think there's a reason to do that. There's obviously financial reasons to do it, but I just looked it up just for sake of argument, and just to make if anyone isn't caught in the loop, just to make everyone feel a little bit better. The International Game Developers Association has actually reached out to some of those employees, and they're pretty much helping them go to career centers and things like that to find new jobs.
Yeah.
They're reaching out to companies that have spots open, trying to find, like, pretty much gateway them from Blizzard to a new company that way. And you got to think about it. People that are within Blizzard, whether they're, I mean, you know, a lot of them were like marketing and a lot of the art department. Regardless, they were with probably one of the biggest gaming companies today. Anybody's would jump at picking them up. So I can guarantee you're going to see them transition to another large company, no matter what their field is in. Because, I mean, not saying that Blizzard, granted, I'm like Frazly, I'm a Blizzard fanboy. I guarantee you they're going to go from one company to another. And there's a lot of them, so not everyone will, but a lot of them probably will get a new job somewhere else very easily.
And we lost some great caliber of people. I mean, and I'm going to mention a few names, but this is not even the extent of everybody that's there. But like, we lost Christina McConan, Caden House, Q Lee, who made many of the plushies. In fact, I'm looking at 2 plushies right in front of me, and I've got countless plushies around me. We lost Robert Taylor, and there's many more. But I love that the community and these different associations have come together and are doing what you said. They're finding jobs. The community is giving support to people, and that blew me away. That we are taking a thing where we all are feeling heartbroken. We're all feeling so shocked. I mean, I wasn't expecting this. We're feeling anger. We're feeling sadness. I mean, we're going through a lot of grief right now over these people that we've gotten to know. Some of these people had a long tenure at Blizzard, and it's shocking. And there is a game dev's Google document that has a ton of jobs for people that are hiring, and I'm going to have a link in the show notes. But there are retweets. People were retweeting these things all over Twitter, and that is what I'm amazed at, the outpouring of support for those who lost their jobs.
And I think that's the thing that's different today compared to maybe 10, 15 years ago. If this would have happened, like, if this would happen earlier on, they would actually probably struggle to find new jobs. But now it's just like, I mean, I didn't know this document existed until I pulled it up out of your show notes. Like, holy crap. And it says it's constantly being updated by people. Like, there's a group of people who's actually continually pouring details into this.
Yeah.
And like, even if they're active on Twitter, which they probably are, I would assume, people will help them out. Like, it's not like they're just going to be pushed out onto the street. And even, like, I'm sure most of these people care enough about their careers that they have enough gung-ho to go out and find a new replacement job as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's also just kind of nice that the fact that they're not, like, being, like, pushed out of the industry. Like, they're still, you know, trying to connect with other people. And I think it's going to be very interesting in the future about what some of these other people might end up doing. Who was the guy who developed Hearthstone? I keep forgetting his name. Ben Brode. Like, when he left the company to start his own thing, it's kind of interesting how he kind of like took a lot of influence from his work from Blizzard and implemented it to his work. So I'm kind of like interested how those former employees might implement their skills that they developed in Blizzard into other games. And who knows, we might even see like little Easter eggs. We might see like little things that might, you know, influence other games to essentially like construct it into a brand new thing. I'm not part of like the gaming industry in terms of like creating games and stuff, but it's kind of neat just to kind of like take a look at like behind the scenes and like how things develop over time.
Yeah, and it's amazing to think about the things that they've learned at Blizzard. And I've heard of people who have gone on from Blizzard and they've brought what they learned, because there is a collective conscience at Blizzard of ideals and like theory on like game design, like lighting and things like. And I mean, so many things that are passed on, and it's fun to see that somebody did that. It's kind of like when you see somebody who works at Apple, and then they go on to make a design, and you're like, wow, you see where they've learned from Apple and what they've done. And like I said, I still love the game, and I'm still going to play WoW. There was a moment on Tuesday where it was hard for me to log into WoW for a second. I was like, you know what? I still love this game, and I still love that there are people that are still at Blizzard, still loving this game as well. Let's continue to support the people who are there. Let's continue to support the people who lost their job. Let's keep posting these things. Thank you to everyone at Blizzard and everyone who's ever been at Blizzard for all that you've done. there's a reason we love these games. There's a reason that we podcast, that we stream, that we do all these things, because we love the games that you have produced, and your legacy is going to live on. The passion that you've inspired in all of us, we want to take that on and help inspire other people.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. Yeah, I'm probably gonna play World of Warcraft until like either I die or until the servers die.
Yeah. The only reason, like, I probably would have struggled to get on Frazly, but when I heard about it, I was already logged in. So, like, I was just sitting there doing world quests, and then I was in Borealis, and somebody was talking about it, and I stopped, and I'm just like, what? Immediately over to my second monitor, I was just like the typing cat meme where the hands are flying up like crazy. That was me. I was, I was smacking my keyboard so fast, like, oh my god, I had to figure out what's going on. And I read like 4 different web pages, and I watched like 3 different videos. One of them being Bellular's video on it, and I was just like, oh my god.
Yeah,
it was definitely weird.
I was in a podcast recording, and I was just like, they were discussing something. So I was just real quick Googling something for the show. I happened to have Twitter open, and I was like, I got so distracted. I mean, in all the rest of Tuesday, I was distracted, and then I went into WoW later on just to kind of veg out and level and stuff like that.
I am.
Yeah, just to completely AFK away from life. I feel ya.
Yeah. It actually was kind of nice. Pat was in guild chat, and people were discussing, and he said, I think at this point in guild chat, let's table it here and move it over to Discord, because he said people want to kind of put in the rear view mirror while they're
I
gaming.
definitely saw that, because I was sitting there and like people were going off about it, and I guess I didn't realize that was one of Pat's tunes. And he's like, he's like, I made a channel for it, like, just go ahead and dump all your thoughts there. That way we don't crowd up guild chat. And I was just like, that's actually really smart on him.
Yeah, that is smart. Yeah. I kind of heard about it through, like, I think the Lagging Balls Discord, I think. I kind of, like, heard about, like, oh, we heard from Bloomberg about da-da-da-da-da, like, all this other business stuff. Actually, it's kind of funny, because recently on YouTube, I've been, like, taking a look at, like, defunct, like, amusement park videos for some reason.
Oh, me too.
Yeah. Oh, really?
Yes.
Yeah. Have you ever heard of something called Defunct Land before?
Oh, absolutely. And I'll have a link in the show notes, because I love Defunct Land. Yes.
Oh yeah. I don't know why, but I like to play it in the background when I do world quests and stuff. I don't know. It's something about like Kevin Perjure's voice that's just like really nice to hear for some reason. And just hearing all the stories about like, there's this thing in Tokyo Disneyland based on the Black Cauldron that said something about Satan for some reason. I don't know. It's so weird, but it's just kind of nice.
And it's amazing to learn like the things that were there. And some of the things I experienced, some of the things like, I never experienced that. And yeah.
Oh yeah.
They have a podcast as well.
Oh yeah. That reminds me. I got to like check out the latest episode. It also, Kevin Perjure is like interviewing this guy named Bright Sun Films, which was like my introduction to it. So I got to like listen to that when I get a chance.
I'm going to add them as well.
Oh yeah.
Because there are some amazing YouTubers, and I've been on the same train. I've been watching all these abandoned, bankrupt places.
Oh yeah,
because I want to learn from what happened,
or like how they crashed down, essentially.
Yeah, because I think it's important to learn from things that happened.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, I want to kind of continue the focus that I'm having on the community and all that, and getting to know people I have met in the community, like both of you. And speaking of community, Epic Insanity, what time is it?
It's time to go around the table.
Great idea. So what have you been up to recently? So we will start with Kai SharkyBoi.
In terms of World of Warcraft, I recently started a brand new Horde tune. I actually used my level boost, which I know a lot of people kind of like feel like a little irky about, because I never really experienced a full Horde experience before.
Yes, another into the fold.
yeah, I know. So recently I started a Pandaran rogue named Floofy T, which and there's actually a funny story behind some of my character names, which I'll go into maybe a little bit later. But this is actually the first Pandaran I actually ever played, and I actually went through the starting area, and it's actually really pretty looking. I was actually pretty surprised about it. And of course, I also did the level boosting, which is like all the way to 110. I had it like left over from like, expansion and everything. So I was like, all right, I might as well just like use it, because I don't know what else to use it on. It was kind of neat just to take a look at Zandalar in a more in-depth thing, because if you only played on the Alliance side, you only get like little tiny tastings of like Zandalar, and it's kind of interesting. But when you go deeper into Zandalar and you find out all this history about the Titans and this troll empire and everything, that just kind of like sparked my curiosity. And I started to learn about like different Loa and like, I mean, what if the Loa is a freaking T-Rex? A freaking T-Rex that can eat you alive. It just looks amazing. And it's just like, wow, I've been missing this the entire time. Why haven't I figured this out like earlier? It's just ridiculous.
Is the Loa Janny?
Oh,
the trash Loa?
The trash Loa?
Yeah. I think I know what you're talking about. The one where you have to collect like the little shinies for her. Yeah. Me and my friends, we call her the trash Loa because she's always on a pile of garbage.
Yeah, that's right. I actually did a quest recently with that, actually.
I'm right of the Fraggle Rock. The trash Loa has spoken.
Oh my god. But yeah, I've just been kind of like doing that on a Floofy T on and off a little bit. I still on my main Magic T, which is like my main mage. In terms of other stuff, I've just been working on something called Project Thrall, which is like a voiceover project I'm doing over on my Twitch stream. I'm actually going to do I think another recording a little bit later on today, actually. I kind of want to finish up chapter 2 and maybe do some gaming stuff, a little bit later on today. Other than that, I've also been doing Hearthstone and, just been doing some matches. But boy, some of those players, they'll knock you out if you're not paying attention.
I get defeated by my nephew in Hearthstone, which is if my nephew's listening, that's one reason I don't play Hearthstone.
It is not for the lighthearted, and you have to invest so I tried at work, like if I have nothing better to do, I'll just be like, hey, when my coworker's really into it, I'll be like, hey man, I'm trying to get into Hearthstone. Help me build the deck. And I build the deck and then the season's over. So I'm just like, okay, whatever, I'm done.
Yeah. I kind of been on and off on it a little bit. Although it is a good game if you're just like on your phone at like a bar or like at a Starbucks or something and you have like nothing to do or something. It's still kind of like a nice like, bar game if you just want to get your buddies together. I will agree.
It is a very good game to play while on the toilet. It's so easy. And it's good like maybe 20 minutes and it's like, all right, you're good.
I don't think I ever done that.
It's a good way to relax, I would definitely say.
That's the reason I'm looking forward to Diablo Immortal. I'm looking forward to having a game I can play on the toilet.
Yeah, that would be like the perfect game for it.
I know people who play their Switch on the toilet.
Yeah. Although I heard it can get like really nasty with the bacteria and everything. So
absolutely.
I don't want to. It's just my chefy side, just like showing the sanitation training. Oh boy.
Yeah, I've heard also that the phones are pretty disgusting too. So
I clean mine constantly.
Yeah.
I need to clean mine.
Yeah, that reminds me. I also need to get some like Sandy wipes for it, like those like disposable like wipes that you put
Clorox
on. Like,
wipes,
yeah, Clorox wipes, yeah. But yeah, that's just been what I've been just doing, and also I just recently started a new job, so I'm just trying to get used to that. It's kind of a lot of up in the air right now. So,
are you able to tell where you're working?
I can't say I am working at a certain coffee shop. I'll give you a hint. It starts with an S. One of the best things about this new job, I could get coffee for free.
Yeah.
Yes.
Dangerous.
Yes. And not just free coffee drinks like during and after work, but also I get free ground coffee like once per week, which is nice. I even got myself like this blend called Cafe Verona and also Pike Place Roast, which if you never tried Cafe Verona from the coffee shop that starts with an S, it's really nice. It's a dark roast, but it also has like some sweet cocoa flavors to it. So if you're a fan of chocolate, definitely give it a shot.
I always love the blend of coffee that comes from Guatemala.
Yeah, you're talking to the one person that is the coffee place that starts with an S.
That starts with an S.
He's an enthusiast for their coffee.
Oh yeah.
He goes there every day.
I'm glad I can meet a fan.
Oh yeah, the baristas know me by name, and I'm one of the easiest. The people there that know me by name,
or the people that are friends with his real Twitter account.
Yeah, I bet that they love my order because it's just a personal cups. It's just a little bit of toffee nut, and then just filled straight up with black coffee.
Okay, nice.
Yeah, I feel you. I'm the same way. My K cups I use for work are straight like regular blend coffee, and then I add a little bit of creamer.
Okay.
I've never really experimented with different flavors of coffee. Like my dad was a straight black coffee kind of guy, and then my wife is like frou salted caramel mocha macchiato. Yeah, she does all the crazy stereotypical white girl coffees.
Oh my god!
There was a time I tried the coffee milkshakes until I learned that there's not much coffee.
Oh yeah, there's not.
So I was like,
it's barely any. Like not really that much, but I don't know. It's like a nice like sweet treat during the summer. You know.
Mhm.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
I always hate those because then whenever I have those coffee milkshakes, I always feel guilty, and I'm like, just give me the coffee.
So much sugar.
Yes.
Oh yeah. Although for a while I was kind of like a tea drinker for a while, because the last place I work at was a place called Argo Tea in Chicago and everything, and we do serve coffee there, but it was mostly like a tea place. Some of the fancy drinks that we had there, we had something called tea paccinos. Like, you ever heard about this?
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
No.
So tea paccinos, it's basically half tea, half milk, and then we add in like the flavors. So it's very similar to like a tea latte, if you ever had one of those.
Yeah.
I used to remember we had like some really weird like names for some of these. Like, I think one of them was like, there was an Earl Grey vanilla creme, which is one of my personal favorites. There was something that we had called the Mohiti, which is like an Armenian mint tea that had like sparkling water and lime and like all this other stuff. It's like a mojito, but instead of rum, it's like Armenian mint for some reason. It was pretty freaking nuts.
That sounds delicious. So along with the while you're drinking your coffee and your tea, I see a lot that you like to draw.
Yeah, I do a little bit of traditional art on the side on my Twitter. It's funny because I actually started drawing when I took an animation class for fun at this local community college. I was just trying different career stuff and just kind of like discover myself. While I was there, I kind of created this like original character called Leona the Adorkable Demon based on Bendy and the Ink Machine. It was just something that just kind of like clicked with me, and I just kind of like draw just like random stuff. I mean, I'm not like too consistent. I'm not really the best artist in the world, but I can say I'm like a old school style cartoonist. I guess that's like the best way I could put it.
I've been enjoying seeing them because it's one of those, I've always wanted to take up drawing, but I don't have the patience to do it. So I just haven't done it. Like, I have the iPad Pro with the Apple Pencil, and I'm like, I'm going to draw. And then I never do.
Yeah. I would just like suggest just doing like regular pencil and paper. That's usually like the best way to do it. And plus it's also a way to kind of like help rest my eyes, because sometimes I'm just like looking at a screen like all day, and it kind of like the light from your computer, it can actually hurt your eyes after like a prolonged exposure to it. So I actually use like a sketchbook that I just have like lying around, and it would give my eyes to rest and kind of like, refresh it. It's almost like a palate cleanser almost. Like if you play like World of Warcraft for hours, sometimes your eyes need a break.
Oh yeah.
Just having like a nice like piece of paper and just drawing on like a piece of paper, it's also like a kinetic thing. So when you draw, your hand-eye coordination is like doing something to your brain. It helps you relax. It unleashes something called, what was it called? Serotonin or something. It's kind of like a calming kind of like chemical in the brain that kind of like, makes you feel refreshed.
That's awesome. And then when you're drawing, you also do voice acting and voiceovers.
Yep. I just recently got it back up again. I am actually currently doing something called Project Thrall on YouTube, which is like a audiobook project based on one of my favorite books, which is known as Lord of the Clans.
Hell yeah.
Oh yeah. It's one of my personal favorite books from the Warcraft series. It's just kind of like I like to call it like a voiceover training type of thing, where I'm kind of like trying to get used to like how to like tell a story just through voice alone. I did have like another project like about 2 years ago called Project Arthas, but I kind of stopped because I was kind of like in a bit of a funk. I think I was in like a bit of a weird funk for about like 2 years, but I just kind of got back into it. I also do auditions on Casting Call Club, which is like a cool website. I also do stuff for Hit Record, which I actually got a shout out from Joseph Gordon-Levitt, who is like a great prominent actor.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, I did a couple of years back. And I also do some stuff on there, which is just like a nice like little website that's been developed for content creators just to bring out their original work and just like, get themselves exposed.
How did you get into doing voiceovers?
So there were like a lot of little events, but the one I remember the most was when I was in, I want to say early high school, late middle school. I remember seeing something on YouTube about like different voice actors from your childhood or something. And I think there was like the voice actress for Ash Ketchum or something. There was like a little expose about it. I kind of forgot her name, but I remember seeing footage of her doing like Ash Ketchum's voice, like, I choose you, Pikachu, you know, kind of stuff like that.
Yeah.
My brother at the time, my younger brother, he was kind of a little bit like, no, my childhood is ruined or something. But for me, I was like, that is the coolest thing ever. I want to learn how to do that. It kind of sparked this like interest. Of course, you know, there were other stuff too, like my culinary career and like my other stuff. What really set the nail in the coffin was I was part of something called the Brony fandom, which I don't know if some people are familiar. I went to my first voice acting panel during one of their conventions, and I was like, wow, this is really cool. I really want to do this as a job someday. After a while, I kind of decided just to start doing my own stuff on YouTube, as well as other stuff on like SoundCloud and stuff like that, which I got to like figure out a way how to like reintegrate that into my content creation. And I've just been very interested in just acting in general. I was in a couple of stage productions. I was even part of a soap opera once in a weird way. I actually got this gig as like an extra, which is like one of the background characters for this show called Empire, which was actually filmed in Chicago. There's actually a lot of TV shows filmed around there. And I remember the day that I actually went there, it was actually inside a former steel mill. I kind of went in there. It was like a club scene, and all the sets were inside these giant wooden boxes. So it's kind of like if you want to go inside like one of the apartments, for example, you enter into the box and the box just looks like an apartment, like inside New York City, which is pretty cool. I remember being an extra behind the scenes there. You know, it was like a song sequence. So it's almost like being in the mini concert, which was kind of fun. Granted, it was one song over and over and over, but it was pretty fun. But I remember this one moment. So one of the main actresses, her name's like Taranje something. I can't remember her name. Her character name is Cookie. You know, it's like a hip hop kind of thing. I remember in between takes, this was in the middle of July, inside the steel mill, it's like 70 degrees, so average room temperature. But I remember seeing her in a big fur coat in between takes with Uggs on, which is those boots.
Yeah.
And then she just kind of said, it's too damn cold in here. Like, it's just like, what? Like, I didn't want to say anything just because I don't want to get in trouble, but I was just kind of going like just kind of like trying not to laugh. Just kind of like, lady, it's just 70 degrees in here. It's not cold at all. But anyways, if she hears this, I don't mean any disrespect. I just thought it was just a funny like little story behind it.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Oh, by the way, if you want to find me in that episode, I'm on season 2, episode 12 in the song Like My Daddy. That's what it is.
Of Empire.
Of Empire, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. It's a great show, but oh boy, it's heavy. So, you know, you gotta have to be ready for it. So
that's one that I've been wanting to at some point get into. Now that you're in it, I definitely.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Although you wouldn't really see my face, but I'm kind of like the big dude in the corner that has like the beigest suit that you can imagine. It was kind of weird because everyone's in like trendy like club clothing, you know, something that's like, oh, it's like something out of Los Angeles or something. But I'm just like some guy that got transported from the 1950s into it, like for some reason. It was the weirdest experience I've experienced on a TV set.
I was on a Disney cruise ship, and the person that was that was busting the table and like serving the drinks, they were an extra on one of the Harry Potter movies.
Oh, really? Are you serious?
Oh, I'm serious. And like they're actually on the cover of one of the movies, but they're blurred out because the studio could not pay royalties. But they were in the as an extra, and I almost got them in trouble because I was just so excited about what they were doing.
Oh,
I'm like,
my God, that is awesome.
Yeah.
Like, were they like a student or were they like a teacher or something?
I think they were a student. So I think that like they were walking around, and they said the actors were phenomenal. I mean, they actually said Draco Malfoy was one of the nicest people that they've ever met.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
It was so cool.
I am pretty surprised at that.
Me too. And it was, you said like the actor did not treat them like an extra, treated them like just like a friend that they were hanging out. So I love stories about being extras and stuff like that. Cause there's probably like a energy to being in that room that you're just like, I'm on something.
Yeah. It's like a project thing almost. Yeah.
Yeah. So have you seen growth in your creativity?
Growth in my creativity? I'm not really too sure if it's like growth, but it's more like, it's kind of evolving. Like, it's kind of like changing up a bit because usually the job of a voice actor, you're not really necessarily an artist or you're not necessarily a writer. You're basically like a singer. So I kind of think that I'm starting to become a little bit more like a musician in terms of like how things are kind of like composed. Like for some of the live streams that I did in terms of like recording Project Thrall, I do kind of like mess up some stuff, but as I play back to it and kind of like refined it, I kind of understand like, okay, there's like a musicality to this. Because if you listen to like audiobooks or something like that, you kind of notice that like certain voices are kind of like, it has like certain tones or something like that. So it's kind of like in a world, you kind of see this, you know, just as an example, you can see like different tones and different voices. Like if you want to do something serious, you do something much more lower, where it's kind of like something like one man, one destiny. You know, it's kind of like there's a musicality to it. There's like a tempo to it that you have to kind of like get into, which is why getting into music also like really helps. I came from a very musical family, so I kind of know like certain things like different tempos and like how rhythm kind of like helps convey a story and everything. So I think it's kind of like just evolved over time. You know, I think it's like the same for any artist, not just for voiceover artists, but also for artists, for animators. It just evolves over time.
And what would you say is a pitfall that stops people from succeeding in drawing and voice acting?
If you develop a certain type of ego, like if you think that you're like better than everybody else, then that's just a pitfall that, you know, that will just lead to failure. Because a lot of the stuff that's like involved with voiceover, it's like a group project. Like not only is it the voice actor, but it's also the audio engineer, there's the director. In fact, a really good podcast I would suggest if you're interested in like listening about the behind the scenes stuff, there is a guy named Rob Paulson who was like the voice of like Yakko, Pinky and stuff like that. He developed a podcast called Talking Tunes on Spotify. And he goes into details about like not only his own career, but also other people's careers and like how they kind of like developed over time, how they got into like the voiceover industry and like how they got into other neat little things. So if you're interested in like the behind the scenes stuff, I would suggest Talking Tunes from Rob Paulson.
Absolutely. That sounds fascinating. I love Animaniacs. And
oh yeah. I always loved Pinky and the Brain.
Yes.
Yeah. I remember I tried to like copy like the whole intro to it. It's like, Jay Brain, what are we going to do tonight? The same thing that we've been doing every night, Pinky.
The same thing we do every night.
The world. Yeah. Yeah. Thank you.
I love that.
Oh yeah. I pull that all the time at like one of my former jobs, and like everybody's just like, "Oh my god, this guy is Pinky and the Brain!" Like, even though I'm not.
I just watched the show a lot as a kid.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I'm a rabid fan. Yeah.
Oh yeah. I think I saw it like a couple of times, but I don't remember seeing a full episode when I was a kid. I don't know why. Well, I don't know. I mean, I've saw like bits and pieces, and I can appreciate it now, but I was more like the Pokemon kid. Like I was a big Pokemon maniac. Like I was just like, I don't know. Like I try to copy like some of the voices from like some of the, I can't do it now because my voice is way too low. But I used to remember doing Pikachu. I used to remember doing like Kingler. There was like Onyx that kind of goes like, oh, like this. It sounds like he's in constant pain for some reason. Where whenever he like stretches out, he kind of goes like, oh, like. I know, you can't unthink that. It's like every single time he comes out, it sounds like he's in pain.
Wow.
I don't know why.
You're right.
But I want to meet some of those people. I want to meet the people who done the Pokemon voices someday. It'll be just a fun experience.
Yeah. And it's always fun like seeing them not be in their voice or like House is British and like I think Saeed from Lost is British, and it's always like,
oh yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And the skill that they did.
Oh yeah. I mean, when I heard about like Heath Ledger, I thought he was American. Apparently he's Australian, which is like, I kind of got a little taken back by like, whoa, really? He's from Australia? Like,
it seems to be all the really cool people come from Australia or Canada. I was talking with somebody. It's like everybody I know seems to be from Canada or Australia.
Oh yeah, I've actually spent summers up in Canada. Actually.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, at a summer camp in McKellar County, 2 hours north of Toronto. Like, you know, it's beautiful there, but very strict littering laws. Like, if you're caught littering, that's a $500 fine right there. Just $500,
which I think is great because
I mean, it is great. It is great, but you have to be very careful. Like, okay, I'm just going to put the Coca-Cola can in the trash can. I'm not going to throw it. Like, it discourages people from actually throwing it. Just like, okay, just gently put the Coca-Cola bottle inside the recycling bin. Don't drop it. Like, it's...
Yeah. And imagine when they get drones. So like all of a sudden, accidentally, even you're putting it in gently, but like a wind comes through and knocks out of your hand, and this drone comes out of the thing saying like, "Warning, you have littered."
I've missed the sound over.
I have to admit, if I was like around there and I hear like a voice like that, I would be like terribly afraid. Like, am I going to die? Like, oh god.
I will exterminate you for littering.
Oh, I'm sorry, drone god.
I'm sorry, drone god. There's just a little drone with a giant megaphone hanging from the bottom of it.
Has like a bright white beard. It's just like, yeah, you have done wrong. Like, oh my god.
Speaking of drone god, did everybody see that the Mars drone eventually powered off the other day?
Yeah, I saw that on Facebook this morning. Oh god, that is so sad.
I think it was after like 3,000 days or some shit like that.
Yeah, I think it was like 14 years, wasn't it?
Something like that.
Yeah, but still, that was still impressive. But still, it's like, oh no, now it's going to be stuck there forever.
Yeah.
Oh man, it's so
saw
sad.
A meme of like going through the days, like, oh, day 90, they're gonna come get me, and then it's like later, it's like 14,000 days later, and we've colonized on Mars, and we have a little shrine around it.
Yeah, I think that would be kind of a neat little thing. Just have like a little park, and like there's that little statue of that rover there, you know.
Oh no, I think it was like they left the rover there, like didn't even move it.
Oh yeah. Yeah, but still, it's so sad.
It is.
Yeah.
Well, it was amazing that it wasn't supposed to last longer than 90 days. And
Well, yeah, I guess if you think about it, it's like, it's just really impressive. Originally, it's supposed to be there for like only 90 days, and it's like it lasts way much more longer than it should. That's still an impressive feat. I mean, 14 years, that's a long time for like any robot, honestly.
In a hostile environment, yeah. And I liked his last tweet.
It's getting cold. It's getting dark. My batteries are low.
And it just like made you all sad.
Oh no! Oh my god! Oh man, that is so sad. That's like,
I know.
It got really sad all of a sudden.
Opportunity landed on Mars in January 2004.
Wow.
Yeah.
15 years.
15 years.
Almost as long as World of Warcraft. Wow.
I know, right? It's actually longer than World of Warcraft.
Well,
yeah, you're right.
Only about a year or so.
Yeah.
So, what would you say is the best piece of advice anyone has ever given you?
Take an improv class. I actually took a class over at the legendary Second City in downtown Chicago, which for those of you who do not know, Second City is like the birthplace of modern improv comedy. Famous people like Bill Murray, Stephen Colbert. I think like some other prominent comedy actors got their training from there. I took like the beginning class, and what's really nice about improv is that not only does it help you think on your feet, but it also kind of like helps you learn how to play. Like it teaches you like just to like let go and just like get things out there. And it helps with creativity. It helps with a lot of stuff. And it actually helped with my voice acting because it kind of really helps me like learn how to like, you know, maybe just like change some stuff around, because sometimes the book might have like a couple of errors. Like I even in Lord of the Clans, I actually found some like weird printing errors where the words get smushed, or like there would be like a word like had like printed twice for some reason.
Yeah.
So sometimes I had to like use my improv skills. Like, okay, I had to say it like this, or maybe there might be a word that might be a little too complicated. So I had to kind of like change it up a little bit. But for those who might be interested in voiceover or even just like in acting in general, definitely take an improv class. Not only is it a great way to improve your acting skill, but it's also like a life enrichment type of skill. Like it kind of helps you like be a little bit more creative. It helps you with like social skills. It's definitely a great piece of advice. So definitely take an improv class.
Oh, I would definitely agree. I took 2 improv classes, and I was part of a improv group for a little bit. And just the skills, the idea of yes and that has helped me. And like I always love like what my teacher said. He said, one of you are together and someone says,
"Hey, do you like my hula skirt?"
You don't go, "No, you have a suit of armor," but you go like,
you just go with it. You go with it.
That's a great hula skirt. And do you want a martini at Club Med?
Martini at Club Med. Oh wow. Yeah, that nice. I bravo.
I can't take credit for that because that was his first example at the class. So
oh yeah.
Thank you, Scott Summit. He's more local, Columbus, he's an amazing improv teacher, and he was one of my inspirations.
Oh, that's great. It's just great just to also just go out there and just try something different.
Oh, yeah.
It's just a fun, little experience, you know?
It was one of those, I went there because I had a friend who was going that said, hey, on Facebook, anybody want to go? And I was like, I got to get out of my house and go. Okay.
Yeah.
I got to get up.
You gotta get out there. You gotta, especially during the springtime.
I don't blame you. If I don't have to get up, I won't.
Yeah, same.
Especially nowadays.
And how did you get into gaming?
I was kind of born in the 90s. I know. I'm a 90s baby.
Me too.
I remember the first gaming system I had was a little Game Boy Color. I still have it somewhere in my house or something. And I remember playing Pokemon Yellow, over and over. And I was also a big fan of the TV show. It kind of sparked I was raised as a Nintendo kid for a lot of my life. So I kind of I played stuff like Mario. I played Mario Party with my brother over and over and over again. I played Smash Bros. And stuff like that. How I actually got into World of Warcraft, it's actually a very interesting story. A friend of mine invited me to his house one time when I was in early middle school or something. And his brother was like, hey, come down to the basement. I want to show you something. And we went to the basement. He booted up World of Warcraft and say, hey, why not you just give it a try? And I was like, all right. And I think I made a Tauren Shaman. And I was just blown away with Mulgore and everything. It's still one of my favorite starting zones. It's wow, this is beautiful. It's rolling plains and there's Pride Striders. There's all this beautiful grasslands. It's wow. My mind just got blown away. Nowadays I could kind of laugh at it a little bit, but it was just that sense of adventure. You're just this guy that just came out of nowhere. It's just I'm gonna go out to the world and save people or something like that. I felt like a superhero almost, and it kind of got me into this I wouldn't say obsession or addiction, but it gave me a sense of purpose to kind of go out there as I'm gonna do good out in the world of Azeroth today or something like that. Just kind of as a big old superhero that happens to be half cow, half giant for some reason. Yeah.
Oh yeah, because the champion, we need you to save us. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm surprised that they actually retired the hero word from it and replaced it with champion for some reason.
I think people got tired of being the hero and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Now you have proven yourself to be more than just a hero, and you've saved the world from many different atrocities.
Yeah, that's very true. Although I do have to say that I actually kind of skipped the Mist and Pandaria, and also I think Warlords of Draenor, because my computer that supported World of Warcraft at the time just went kaput. So I was like, I can't really play it anymore. So, but until Legion came out. When I got back into World of Warcraft at the time, I actually created a brand new account, and I just want to experiment with a couple characters. And I was working at a tea shop at the time called Argo Tea, and I came up with this parody character called Night Tea, which is kind of a parody of Batman, where it's kind of I'm Night Tea or something like that. It was this night elf rogue that's kind of I came up with this story idea where it's kind of she was originally trained to become an assassin, but she got tired of it and decided just to be a pirate instead. Just kind of nope, okay, not going to do this. And just kind of decide to just be an outlaw instead. And I realized that whenever I make a new character, not a lot of people put T at the end of the name. So I came up with all these characters. Obviously, there's Magic Tea, which is my main right now. There's Molten Tea, the Dark Iron Dwarf I made. Tiny Holy Tea, a gnome priest, which I kind of want to get back into. And also recently, Floofy Tea, which is a Pandaren rogue who is also floofy. Just kind of this floofy.
So if you were in a 2-person mount, mm-hmm, and somebody dismounts and you're falling, would that be spilling the tea?
No. Really, Frasley?
I think that's good.
You really had to go there?
Love it.
Seriously?
Yes, I miss it.
Oh my god, Brett. Oh my god.
I made you face palm.
Oh my god. Oh man, I love this so far. This is one of the best experiences ever.
Oh, that's great. Oh. I've enjoyed having you on it.
Yeah.
And the stories.
Oh my god.
And you know what's amazing is getting to meet people. There was a time that when we were in Discord on a voice chat for an episode, all of a sudden I hear somebody during pre-show comes on and they start talking on chat. This person's named MetalXperl. And I had never met them before. and we started talking. I was like, hey, you sound really cool. So I brought him on an episode, and we had a great time. And then like over time, we didn't hear for a little bit, just like life. And they said like they were doing stuff and they were going to be in deployment and stuff like that. So, you know, like life comes to go. Then I'm on a stream and I get this text from somebody and they said, hey, I'm back. Do you want to be on the show? And that's how we have MetalXperl. So what have you been up to?
Oh my gosh. It's been, I think, almost about a year since the last time I was on, because it was like either February or March last time I was on, because it was me and
was that Red Pele Jill?
Yeah, it was Red Pele Jill. Yeah. And that was a really fun show. That was, oh my gosh. And this is what you said, 94?
Yeah.
I think that was like 43 at the time.
Wow.
Yeah.
I can't even think back to a year ago. That just seems like so long ago.
And it's so cool because the show's almost 2 years old.
Oh wow!
Oh.
Really? Wow!
You can start walking soon.
Oh, nice! Yeah, happy anniversary to FrazlCast, I guess. Happy anniversary!
It'll
be like what, June? I think. I guess. So I guess we're a couple months away. So
June 27th, the 100th episode will be on the day after my birthday. So it'll be on March 28th.
Heck
okay.
Yeah.
Okay, I got to remember that. God, definitely remember that.
What I've been up to. So since then, I did a lot of train up. Currently in the Army. Was there for about a month, and now I'm in DC. So that's what I'm doing now, currently in my job. As an example, I mean, it can't really go into it a lot, but
yeah,
I sit in front of a screen for 12 hours a day.
Oh wow!
Yeah. So yeah, it's a weird schedule. It's on 2 days, off 2 days, on 3 days, and then the next week I'm off 2 days, on 2 days, off 3 days.
Oh wow!
That's why I like messaged you, Frasley. Like some Thursdays I can, some Thursdays I can't.
Yeah.
And then after 6 weeks, I switch from like day to night.
Since you're like on a computer screen for like 12 hours a day, do you have like some of those like special glasses in order to help with like the eye strain?
We've talked about it, the gunner glasses. I've thought about it, but I mean, even before I did this, I was staring at a screen for a decent amount of the day. So it is weird because I've traced it, at least for me specifically in my personal experience. It's based on my caffeine intake. If I don't have like a normal amount of, I haven't like traced the amount, I could probably figure it out. But if I haven't had like a decent amount of caffeine that day, massive headache, staring at a screen hurts. Like, I don't know. It sucks because like sitting there 12 hours a day, like after I'm done like doing whatever and I get home, it's like, I'm going to play WoW. Oh, I have to stare at a screen. No.
Oh my God.
Yeah. Some of us in my workplace, there's like these weird like screen shields that are like shades that they put up. Like some people use it. I don't really care because it doesn't bother me too much. But it depends. Some of the different systems we work with are actually made like they're more like dull colors and things like that, so you can stare at them. Okay. Some of them are, not all of them are.
Yeah, because if you think about it, like staring at a screen for 12 hours, that's got to be like really like, you know, disorienting.
Oh yeah, definitely. It's like the one specifically I work on has a lot of like yellows and browns and like dull colors, so it doesn't hurt your eyes. It doesn't have like bright whites, like big dark contrasts like black and white.
I see.
And it's not like we're working on, 144 IPS monitors. We're working on stuff from like the 90s.
Okay.
Wow.
Yeah,
so
that sort of makes sense.
So the color depth isn't too crazy.
Yeah.
Other than that, I guess in the personal side or gaming side, played BFA before launch. I was actually able to be at home when it launched. It was like, I think 2 weeks.
Oh.
First 2 weeks I was at home, and I stopped working in July. So from July till I left in September, I was like, I had different train ups and different things I had to do, but I was like sitting at home all day and I had a decent amount of money to live off of, so it was fine. So I'm just sitting there played a lot of BFA, and it was actually kind of funny because while my first steps of being away is when I first like started doing a lot of like questing and leveling to 120 and stuff like that, Frasley, you'll hate me, but I abused the system and I got the Paradox mount. I got the egg because it was really cool because when it first came out, the Paradox mount with the egg, you could share the quest if you get the egg. Yeah, so I logged on, I saw it on Wowhead. It's like, hey, if you get in a group, you can share the quest. I'm like, oh my god! And I messaged again, cat hands. I messaged like two of my friends, like I'm texting them like, you need to get on. I got this. It was funny because I went into Group Finder, went into custom, searched it, and there was already a group. Like somebody was just sitting there alone in the group, and I'm like, hey, cool, can you share the quest? I'm like, heck yeah, have fun, man. And I'm like, cool. And I farmed it for like one of my friends did it in about a month, and I did it like in a month and a half because there was a couple of days I missed. It doesn't even fly.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah.
And I was just like, I wasted my time for this. Like, it was so happy, and I was just like, cool. And then I went to dollaring because I like spammed my dollar in Hearthstone. I'm like, this thing is going to be so awesome. And I went to fly, and it doesn't even fly. I'm just like, well, I wasted all my time.
well, at least you have like something for your collection. Like,
oh yeah, definitely. Yeah. My mount collection isn't very big, to be honest. I don't even.
Yeah, mine either. But
102.
102. Okay. Yeah, I think mine's less than 100. So don't even worry about it.
I think mine's somewhere in the mid hundreds and stuff like that. And that was my same frustration with the Lucid's Nightmare, as I did all the stuff with Lucid's Nightmare.
That is my favorite mount. I'm so happy.
Oh, it's gorgeous. It just doesn't fly. And I'm like,
yeah, I guess that is one thing.
But hey,
fly.
Yeah. Although I can say one thing, the Void Strider mount, that's kind of like something that it's actually kind of like my favorite mount right now because it just looks so freaking cool. Like, yeah, it doesn't fly, but the fact that it's like one of the Far Striders, which, it kind of makes me nostalgic back for like Burning Crusade. Mm-hmm. The fact that it's like now like all like spatial and kind of like all that kind of like neat little stuff on there. It's kind of like, wow, now that is a mount, like something that's kind of cosmic, something that's kind of like little different. I mean, I'm glad that I kind of did the grind. Like after I reached max level, I kind of grinded it in order to get like the Void Elf unlocked and everything. I was so glad I kind of did that because it was just like the payoff is just like, wow, this is beautiful.
Oh yeah, I've got a picture of that. That's the Void Elf mount, and yeah, that looks amazing.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Like if mounts were a real thing, like in real life, I would totally ride around in it. Just kind of like, hey, what's up? Like,
me too. And that'd be more fun than like our bland cars.
Yeah, just go into the driveway, just kind of like, yeah, it's my cosmic bird from like another dimension. Like, what up?
So with WoW, I got my main. Let's stray away from the word main because I don't really have one this expansion, which is weird to think about. My old character I used to dump a lot of time in was my warrior. Played at Fury all the way to 120, which is what I played in Legion, and I had fun with it. Okay. Tried arms, Frazlia. It's different. It's definitely lackluster.
I will agree that it's one of those. Navox, if you're listening, I definitely do at some point need to try Fury. I'm too lazy and I know arms, so I'm like, I'm just going to stay in arms.
Like that's how I felt with it. And honestly, since I've been gone, like a lot of people that like in real life guild that I play with, like no one's on. Like maybe 2 people have been playing, like, dropped out completely. Played him, had fun with it, got him geared, and at the time it was before before Warfront, so it was still like just basic questing stuff. I got him up to like 340, which was decent at the time, and I don't think I've touched him since. After Warfronts came out and I started playing more, as like around October, I leveled up my Demon Hunter to 120, and she's currently sitting at 375, I think.
Ooh, yeah.
And that's like all World Quest Warfronts, like solo gear.
Really?
Yeah. And that's like, I've done maybe a couple dungeons.
Wow.
If that. Like, and it's from doing weeklies. Like, there was one of them where I got like a 385 shoulder from doing one of the weeklies. And it's just a lot of World Quest, like Warforged, Titan Forging, World Quest and Warfront stuff. Like it's just really lucky rolls.
Wow, because I'm like somewhere in the 360s, I think.
Yeah, I think I'm in like 379 for me, I think.
Nice.
Yeah, like honestly, if you just go do some of the solo content, like granted the World Quest may be like 350, 355 gear, go do it anyways because it'll Titan Forge, Warforge up.
That's a good tip.
And one thing that's been making it really easy for alts at least the alts I've been leveling and getting gear once they are 120 is the assaults. There's a website. It's like wowinfo.bfa assault timers or whatever. It's like just look up for BFA assault timers on Google and you'll be able to find it. And it gives you time frames of when everything's up. And anytime it's up, like even if it's convenient for me to be awake at that time, like if it's not too much, like, oh, it's at 5 o'clock in the morning and it's an off day. Okay. But if it's like, oh, it's 12 p.m. on a work night. Yeah, no, I'm not going to do that because I need to be in bed. I'll go do it because it's most of the time it's 370 gear, and that's can Warforged, Titanforge as well.
I forget about that part.
Yeah, it's really fun. Other than that, like my Demon Hunter is, I guess, my Horde main because it's the one I'll play on Horde because that's my non-real life guild, like the people I don't know in real life, and they're an active guild, and I play with them all the time. Alliance side, my CTR tune currently is my Priest. Been playing pretty much everything with her. I like in Legion. I had a Holy Priest, and I raided with it like actively, like in normal heroics constantly with my friends. So that's what I'm used to. But Discipline is so much fun right now. Like I'll jump into PvP. I used to never do PvP. I like watched a couple of videos. Well, my first experience was going in blind, not knowing what talents to take or anything. And I jump in a 2v2 arena with this Death Knight. And it's like, cool. Okay. I hop in. I'm on my mount. I LOS all the people. The rogue comes out of stealth, stuns me, and then I just completely get 100-0. They clap me. Too easy.
Yeah.
And then this Death Knight 1v2s and wins the match.
Wow, really?
And I'm just like, what? What do you mean? And he's like, I'm really happy that you're – and like I told him before the match, I'm like, hey, I'm new to PvP. I'm sorry if I suck. And he at the end, he's like, he was really nice about it. He's like, I understand you're trying to learn, and I totally get that, but I'm trying to climb. Have fun with your games. And he left the party. And I'm like, hey, that's cool that he was really nice about it and he didn't flame me for dying immediately.
Yeah. I'm not usually a fan of PvPs. I mean, I would occasionally do like the battleground and everything, but oh my God, sometimes it gets like way too chaotic for me.
Oh,
it would just be like me in like Altaric Valley, and then all of a sudden like 20 or more horde just comes barreling through, and I just kind of like, no. Like I just kind of like, no, don't. I don't want to be like a mage puddle in like the middle of the mountains. No.
I watched like a couple of videos on it, at least specifically on Disc Priest, and like it was just an eye opener. Like I don't know, they said things and it made sense in my brain because some of the times I'm just like, yeah, I don't know what any of that means, but they said it and it clicked. And I did that, and I ran into a random BG, got mines, and dominated it. It was so much fun. At least that's what I've been doing on her. I did just recently do a couple Mythic Pluses on her, so I'm starting to get into that. To be honest, I haven't set foot into either of the raids, LFR or normal, at all. Just because I either haven't found the time or haven't really wanted to. Like, I want to because I want to go experience them. I don't care if it's decent gear or the first one isn't good gear anymore. I still want to do it. Like, it eats away at me because last expansion I got ahead of the curve on every raid.
Oh wow, nice.
Yeah, like, and it's like I effectively went through, like, that's how much I dedicated time to it. And it's like, okay, and like even I got server first mythic with my Cenarius guild.
All right.
It was kind of like cheap. It was mythic first for the server on Horde that was mostly Alliance, and it was on like 2 raid tiers back. But still, regardless, like that is an achievement I have. It was weird.
Oh, absolutely.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I mean, you got to like hold on to that. Like,
yeah.
Like if you ever go on like another raid team and they see that like you're done a server first, that's kind of like almost like a status symbol at one point, because you're kind of like, yeah, this guy knows exactly what he's doing. Like he knows what's up.
Yeah. Other than that,
okay.
Buddies. He's like, yeah, it's actually so someone who's an officer on my team. Like normally, I don't know, it's weird. He plays WoW too, and I didn't know about it until like after a month of being with him, going to work with him every day. He's like, yeah, I play WoW, and like all he does is solo content.
Wow.
And he's like almost 390.
Wow.
Exactly. Yeah. He like pumps out world quests, does war fronts, does all this other junk, and like all he does is solo content. And I'm like, there's no way. He's like, yeah, man, I just get super lucky. Wow. Oh, and he'll do LFR.
Oh,
but it's because LFR's cakewalk sometimes.
I did hear that the LFR of the latest one, I was talking, who was I talking with?
The second tier or the first tier?
Yeah.
I think they said the second tier, especially, I know it was Michael. I was talking with Michael on the Blue Recluse, and they said, yeah, the second tier of that just opened up has a lot of mechanics. And they said probably would not be a wise idea to do that
okay.
at LFR Wing this week.
I'll have to look into it because like Holy was my thing last expansion. And that's what I loved doing. So maybe that's what I'll do now. Because I'm more interested in it.
Yeah. I mean, that reminds me. I got to get into LFR for Battle for the Zalador, or how do you pronounce it?
Drazlador, yeah, whatever.
Drazlador or something like that. Yeah. I wanted to do the raid, but again, I was just been like so busy and everything with like, the voiceover and stuff like that I completely forgot about it.
So Metal, all this while playing that you've been doing it while you've been deployed.
Yeah, it's definitely different. So I've done it before, but it was kind of like I guess not really 9 to 5 because we woke up earlier. So like when I was in my training session, like 4 years ago, it was Monday through Friday. We went to class, had, PT or, whatever. We had meals and stuff, and then we'd go to like the chow hall and eat and stuff. And then, after like a certain time of the day, I'd be done. It was like 6 o'clock, I'd be done. So it's just like any other day. I'd go home, back to my room, and I'd play. But it's different here because of the time schedule difference. Our job is not too, taxing other than time. 12 hours on for 2 days, and then I get the whole day off. On work days and work weeks, where I work 5 days a week, is definitely harder because I'll get off. Well, it also depends whether it's night or day shift. So currently on day shift, wake up at like 4 a.m. to get ready, leave at 5:30. I'm a slow person in the morning. That's why I get up around 4 or 4:30, just because I'm slow. But my roommate can get up at 5 and be ready by 5:30. I can't do that. I just have a whole routine. I'm not a morning person.
Oh, boy.
Leave at 5:30, get to work at 6:30, 12 hours, get off, come back. Most of the time, it's like, okay, I need to go to the gym. So at the gym from like 7 or 7:30 until like 8 or 8:30, sometimes even 9 o'clock at night. By the time I'm back, I'm hungry. So I have to make food. Sometimes, most of the time I do. Usually while I'm cooking, I'll pull up either like a show or something, or I'll play something. And I eat. If I have to work the next day, I like to put myself to bed around 10. Doesn't always happen like that, just so I can get at least 6 hours of sleep. But it doesn't always work out that way. Rinse and repeat.
And when you're gaming, are you gaming in a common area, or are you gaming in your room?
Oh, no. I keep all my stuff downstairs in the common area. It's kind of, I guess, pseudo office. Like my kitchen and the like where the 2 desks are kind of open. And then there's like a living room on the opposite side of the kitchen. It's like a little townhome, if you think about it, a little apartment. It's very nice. It's an Air Force barracks because we're on an Air Force base. The Army rents it out for the specific tasks that we're doing. It's different. It's definitely a lot better than what I've seen. And this is definitely completely different than how the Army would probably run it. But it's not too bad. Off days, and that's the thing that, like, I'm definitely a night owl. I favor the night shift a lot better. So night shift would be, I guess it depends. So let's say I get off at, I like explaining it when you're getting off for the night shift better. So you get off at 6:30 a.m. and is usually get back by 7. Usually, most of the time, straight to bed immediately at 7 a.m. and sleep until around 1-ish, like 12 or 1. Get up. That way I have enough time to go to the gym, shower, get ready, eat, play games, whatever I want to do. And I usually will do all that until around 4:30, kind of the same time a.m.
Okay.
I don't know. I just feel like it's better at night shift because I have that time of when I wake up to when I leave. There's that whole time to do whatever I want.
Yeah.
And then I work and then go to bed immediately as I get home. When it's on day shift, I have to spend time before my shift to get ready and after my shift to do things. I don't have like a giant block. That way I feel like I get less sleep on day shift. But off days, we have like a certain range of mileage we can't go outside of. We're pretty much free to do whatever we want. One thing that is I guess you could say a hindrance is that 5 of us share one van, so we have to coordinate accordingly. Most of the time we go to the gym together just to kind of keep it easy. Like today is an off day today's Thursday. Oh my God. My mind it's so hard getting used to what day is which and time frames. But like today's an off day. I had an off day yesterday as well. I had the van yesterday for doing a couple other stuff. And like later tonight, after somebody else gets, and like we have another additional team that does work somewhere else, but they're not on the same time frame. They get off around like 3:30. I'm waiting for them to get off so I can take one of them and go to the grocery store so we can go get food. You work it out with other teams. You work it out within your team. It's definitely different too compared to like being like deployed overseas, because it's usually 24 hours on and 24 hours off, or 24 on, 48 off, or something like that. So it's definitely different because we have the regular real world amenities to deal with. Not, overseas, like, hey, you have one line of internet with 1,200 people sharing it, It's definitely gotten better over the years because they're just like civilian contractors making more civilized things overseas. But definitely having it here, this is the pretty much regular civilian world. It's different.
And I would assume because the government needs the connection for what they're doing, the internet connection's pretty fast and stable.
I mean, it's Comcast. So, I mean,
okay. Yeah. Anything with Comcast is like perfect.
It could be better. I would definitely agree. It could be better. And this, I'm in the DC metro area. So I'm like, I think this is considered Virginia. I think, no, it's Maryland, but it's like Maryland, Virginia, like we're in this weird like little corner. It's like the Kentucky, Indiana, Ohio tri-state area, like the whole Cincinnati area. Like it's weird. It's got weird borders. Like it's not just like split up by the Potomac River. It's just like it's a weird thing. Like you cross one highway, it's like boom, you're in another state. It's like okay.
Oh yeah.
It can be spotty at times. Granted, my roommate, he also games. He mostly plays Xbox though. He has a laptop that I've actually gotten him to play a couple PC games with me as well.
Nice.
I brought my Xbox from home, sold it, and bought a newer Xbox. So I have one. I don't play it a lot, but I do play it. I've noticed that depending on what he does will take away from the bandwidth and like sometimes will cause issues with like mostly with me if I'm like watching a YouTube video or listening to Spotify or something while I'm gaming, Spotify will have an issue more than the game will.
Oh,
okay.
We do have a router modem combination device that is just supplied to us from Comcast that really bugs the crap out of me because it sucks. Sometimes it'll just internet connection will sometimes just drop, so we'll still be connected to the network, but the internet connection will just die out of nowhere, and it's just like, okay, that's annoying. I mean, there was one night we waited 5 hours for it to come back up.
5 hours? Oh.
Yeah, it was, what did we even do? I think we watched like a movie or something because we still had cable. So like the internet and cable are from the same place, but like cable was fine. So I'm pretty sure I was either watching something on my phone or we went in there and just watched a movie for a couple hours and came back and it worked, or went to the grocery store or something. But it was like, we got done. It was like maybe we were playing something together on Xbox and it was like 11 o'clock at night, cut out, and we're just like, what the hell? Come back at like 4 o'clock in the morning and it's working. We're like, cool. But yeah, it's for the most part, it's not terrible. It's definitely not what I have at home, and I do miss that. Like I talk to my wife about it all the time. She's just like, internet isn't really that much of a problem, or she'll call me whenever there's a problem with it, and I'm just like, oh well, we do this and it'll fix it.
And I'm kind of hearing that the time that you get, that you have more time than I was kind of thinking, but you have that certain days you have more time than other days.
Yeah. So like off days is definitely way more open. So like today I'm off. Normally I don't wake up this early. I should, to try and stay on my schedule, and that's the thing that sucks. Oh, and something else I've been doing while I'm here is I started a D&D group with some of the people here.
Ooh.
Yeah. So we're playing D&D. It's really fun campaigns, and most people haven't played before, and I haven't played a lot, but I've played a little bit to know. I'm actually running a campaign now, which is actually pretty great. We have 2 campaigns going right now. We should have played yesterday, but I wanted to take like a break from it. Depending on who's there and honestly how much all of us drink, we usually start around 7 or 8. And some nights we'll end at like 11. There's times where we've ended at 6 o'clock in the morning.
Really? Oh, wow.
We've had like 10 to 12 12-hour D&D sessions.
Yeah. Actually, quick question. Have you ever heard of a show called Harmon Quest?
No, but I can write it down.
Yeah. So this is on Verve. I don't know if you guys ever heard of Verve or anything. It's like YouTube, but like more geekier for some reason.
Mm-hmm.
So Dan Harmon, the guy who created Rick and Morty,
mm-hmm.
he made this show called Harmon Quest, where it's basically him and a bunch of celebrity friends like play like a generic version of Dungeons and Dragons, and like they animated certain parts to it, and it's the most hilarious thing that you will ever hear. So if you're a fan of D&D, definitely check out Harmon Quest. That's like the best one.
I'll have to look it up. I made a note in my phone for a bunch of cool stuff I've needed to write down over the past year.
Oh, yeah, definitely. I just love to put it in the background sometimes if I'm just like drawing something. It's definitely a great show. And, you know, as a D&D fan myself, I absolutely love it.
Yeah, one thing I have constantly been listening to, even before I left, was Scott Johnson, There Will Be Dungeons. It's him and John Jagger, Kyle, it's got Bo Schwartz in it as well.
Oh.
It's like a post-apocalyptic D&D session, and I think it's great, and I've definitely fallen behind. And that's the one thing that sucks as well. While we're on shift, we have internet access, but it's government computers with restricted websites, so we can't go anywhere we want. There's certain places we can and can't go, so that's the thing that sucks, is I can't completely open my life to, you know, the complete internet while we're there.
I can understand that because of the security and the privacy and stuff like that. But it's still, I mean, it would be like, because I know what sometimes I'm at work and I'm like pulling up something. I'm like, oh yeah, good thing that they're not restricted.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Other than that, I mean, it's mostly just trying to find time to do what I want. Like previously, like from like August time frame until I started playing WoW again in like October-ish, I played nothing but solo and sometimes online Vermintide 2. I know I maybe I talked about it last time I was on. It's just like a hack and slash mob type game. It's, if you think of Left 4 Dead, it's like a medieval Left 4 Dead where you just get hordes of rats and specials and things like that. I dumped probably like almost 400 hours into it.
Whoa.
In that time frame.
400 hours?
Yeah, exactly. To me, it was a sandbox, and I will probably play it again, but I haven't touched it since because they updated things, and I had fun with it for a little bit and then stopped. Yeah. And something I've gotten back into as well, which I'm sad with myself about, is League. I started playing League again, League of Legends. I played it for a long time. I've been playing it for like probably like 8 or 9 years, and finally got back into it. And it's I don't know why I am.
Yeah,
but I've been doing that and WoW back and forth now for the past couple months.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of try to do like Heroes of the Storm, but I can never understand the control scheme. So it's kind of like, I don't know. It's just really hard for me for some reason.
Yeah, it's one of those games. It's like when you first start up Halo, you just have to get your butt kicked over and over and over and over again until you learn.
Exactly. Yeah, it's just kind of weird because it's like, you know, obviously my number pad didn't like work the same way. I had to like put my hand on over like the top keys for some reason. It's a little disorienting actually. Although I haven't like really played it a lot like since the first time I did it, but it was kind of like, wait, what do I do? Like it's so weird.
Aspects of a couple different games, like it's like the way I think the reason I transitioned so well into it because I played RTS games. I played StarCraft. I played StarCraft 2, StarCraft 1. So it kind of helped.
Oh yeah, I really want to get into the Warcraft 3 Reforged. I kind of see if I could.
That'd be so much fun.
Yeah. Wait, is it out yet, or is it like?
No. It's I think fall this year is when it's supposed to come out.
Okay, yeah, I'll definitely have to pre-order it.
Oh, and you get a mount that like you can throw things in WoW with, like you can throw like.
Oh yeah,
it was like a meat wagon thing.
Before. WoW digital shinies. I'm totally all.
Oh
for
yeah.
It.
Oh yeah.
I had to buy Hogress. I had to buy that immediately.
Oh, I haven't bought it yet. Yeah. I bought the Valpyra mount.
And I'm gonna get Valpyra, but again, you know, limited budget.
So much controversy around it, and I don't know why. Like, I mean, I get it. I understand people are upset that it's a cash grab, but I don't care. I have money, and I like the mount. I'm going to throw money at it.
Yeah.
For me, it's like, I like the mount. It's not giving anybody an advantage. It's just making me look really cool. And Ali was saying that it's riding the Taran on the hog looks really cool. I agree.
Yeah. I want to get that Vulpera mount. It looks so beautiful. Like, it's just... like, I just wanted to hug it.
And a real-time clarification from Leah Wild, who is the Vulpera expert. Vulpine familiar. Vulpera are the people. So
Yeah. I wish they were an allied race. Like, they just look so freaking adorable. Like, I just want to... like, I just want to play one so badly.
Oh, me too. The Vulpera is an amazing race, and that's why I've been watching Leah Wild and the Vulpera hype caravan. I want them to be a race. They're awesome. They look really cool.
They are pretty freaking cool. I would definitely play a rogue of Vulpera, or like maybe like what would be like a other class for it? Like, maybe, I don't know if warrior would work, but maybe warrior. I don't know. I mean, something that's like melee centric to it.
What are you used to playing? Like, what is your main?
So my main, it's Arcane Mage. I'm kind of more like a distance kind of person, but I kind of like playing Rogue as well. I kind of like the whole, like, the rapid, like, movement of it. I usually like to go in there and just, like, get stuff either done from a distance, or I like to just go in there and just, like, get it done quickly, as fast as possible.
I guess it depends if you want something that's fun and interactive to play, or if you want something that is, like, has a lot of depth and skill base to it. So, like, something I've noticed is Fury Warrior, as an example, is super fun to play, a lot of cool animations. And the one thing that I think the reason why it's interactive is you always have something to push. There's never a downtime when you're not hitting a button. And that's why I like it. But something like Rogue or Survival Hunter or even, like, I guess Enhancement Shaman, maybe there's, like, depth to it. Like, there's a way, like, a certain rotation you can go to do damage. Maybe not as much with Enhancement. Enhancement's kind of on the side of Fury Warrior, where there's always something to push. But I guess it depends what talents you take. But, like, even like Survival Hunter, like, there's a certain way you want to go about it. Mm-hmm. I would say definitely with Survival Hunter, I mean, kind of, there's less buttons to hit, so it's not harder. It's you want to time everything correctly, and something that if you want to, like, high skill cap, high skill ceiling would be like a sub rogue. When I played it, at least I haven't played it since, but when I played it in Legion, it was something that took me a long time to get into. But once I figured it out, it was a lot of fun.
Yeah, I mean, I was kind of more like used to the, like, outlaw rogue and stuff like that, but consider maybe doing like a warrior, like a Fury Warrior for a Maghar Orc once I get, like, the reputation up.
That's playing. So that's one thing I really miss about, like, Draenor. Leveling through Draenor with my Fury Warrior was just, like, it felt so right. Granted, I wasn't Orc, I was Blood Elf, and I still am Blood Elf, but it was just like being a warrior, going into the scenarios, and it's just like, you're a warrior for the Horde. And I was just like, yes, it fit the archetype so well with my warrior, and I was so happy.
Just go in, yeah.
I don't know if they brought the procs back with it, because I haven't played it a whole lot, but Ret Pally also has decent damage for its rotation as well, so it's not terrible. It's one I've seen people say they have a lot of fun with.
I've been enjoying the Ret Paladin. I played that. I leveled that one over Christmas. I'm now leveling a
Horde Hunter named Into.
I've actually saw part of that, actually.
I've been leveling that. Into is now 103. So I'm in Legion now, kind of like leveling in High Mountain. Addie Fizzleblog just has to be one of my favorite quests and characters. Like, it's always, like, so cute, just like positive. Oh, I like this. I mean, and it's like, oh, this is so much fun. I want that innocence and that energy that Addie has. Oh, and fun thing I did last weekend was I played Blue's Birthday Adventure on Saturday.
Oh, yeah. I did get a chance.
I saw your post about that, and I was just like, what?
Yeah.
I found on archive.org. Now, this is archive.org, so I trust that this was not pirating, but it was on archive.org. They have the download of the Blues Birthday, has the CD. So I downloaded it, and I was playing it. Oh, that was so much fun. I was singing along to the song.
Nostalgia, yeah. I remember
play that
watching
again
that with my little brother when he was a little kid. Oh God, yeah, so many memories.
I think I watched that one. Even though I aged out of it age-wise, I still played it, and I played these games so much, and that was a lot of fun.
Oh yeah, and also it's just kind of like an interesting part of like PC gaming history, like at least in terms of like licensed games and stuff like that. It really gives you like a window of time about what it was like and all that.
And it was by Humongous Entertainment, which made some amazing things like Spy Fox, Putt, Jam Sam.
Yes! Oh my God, that's the reason why I got into PC gaming. Oh
yeah.
Like I just remember the family computer in the dining room. We had a full desk and we had a CRT monitor with the speakers on the side that would like hook into it. And big leather chair I'd sit in and just sit there. Me and my sister would sit there and play like Pajama Sam, and we had like all three of them. Good times.
Oh man,
and the games were so much fun. Like I love clicking on things, and like they would like do like do and stuff like that.
The
story
little
would change.
Flavor text stuff.
Oh yeah, they actually have a lot of them on Steam and iOS. So I'm going to be in the future playing some of the.
Oh, it's over. All my money is going into this now.
I would like to try the Zubinis on Steam. That'll be a cool one.
Ooh, Zubinis. Huh?
Yeah. It's like the logic puzzle one. Like
oh yeah.
Yeah, I remember playing that when I was I kind of grew up with a language learning disability, so I went to a speech therapist. I remember on certain sessions that we would actually play Zumbinis and kind of like learn about like logic puzzles and stuff like that, like how to use logic to solve problems. And I remember like there was this one part where it was like the pizza troll or something. It's just this like little stump character that just kind of goes like burp, burp, like just kind of walks forward, and it's like, well, whatever you are, make me a pizza or something like that. Oh man.
Oh, Zumbinis. Yes, I saw somebody play this. I think it was Space Hamster or Butter Gamer.
No, it was Brutal Moose. Brutal Moose was the one who played.
Brutal Moose.
Yeah, and he had like blue makeup on it. He looked freaking terrifying. Just Zumbini, like this kind of like really like wide-eyed. Like it was just. I want to watch that video again now. Maybe after this podcast, I should look him up again.
That video was amazing.
Oh yeah, I love like watching review shows of like different video gamers and stuff. It's just the perfect way how to like have something in the background.
Oh, absolutely. And then I finally finished the Nether achievement for finishing Netherstorm.
Oh yeah, I saw that. Yeah,
I'm working on the Lore Master. That's kind of my goal this year, is to finally get Lore Master.
Oh yeah, I want to see if I could try to do that too.
I applaud you. Like as soon as it came out, I started to get into it, and I talked to one of my friends who still played at the time, and we were both like, "Yeah, we're gonna do it. This is something we're gonna do. We're super serious about it." And I got somebody, I think it was before 60, and just going through all the basic vanilla zones. It was such a grind, and I just stopped, and I was so upset about it.
That's one of the reasons why I've been doing it for streams, because then it gives me content to do.
True. No, that's actually a really good idea for streaming. But it's just like so many characters to level, and I was just like, I'm going to level this and do it so I can get the achievements, so I can get Heritage Armor, and then I was just like, meh.
Oh, it's a grind, and I'm like, but I can do it. I got pretty far in a lot of stuff. And streaming's good too, because you get help from people. So Leo Wild helped me realize I could have 2 hunter pets on my
Oh really?
Horde hunter.
Oh well yeah. I mean that would be pretty helpful, like having 2 of them.
Yeah.
So there is a level 15 talent, because Hattie went away in Legion. I never experienced Hattie because I didn't have a hunter during Legion. But Leo Wild said there's a level 15 talent, so I selected that, and now I've got Littlefoot, my Thunder Lizard, and Buckbeak, my bird.
Oh, from the land before. Oh,
are you playing? Yes. Are you playing BM Hunter? I assume.
Yeah. I like being back in the background, letting my pets attack, and then kind of just watching to see if they need to heal and stuff like that. I have killed more than I have. I've killed them many times and they've not walked away. So thankfully it's not classic. Otherwise they would have.
Thank God for that. Yeah. I think I tried like Marksmanship Hunter with just like solo at one point, and it was just kind of like, I guess it kind of felt kind of weird not having a pet with you, because it's like, you see the enemy coming in, and even though he's shooting arrows, it's like, oh God, why is it coming this way? No, don't, like this kind of like, it's like that weird anticipation thing where it's like, come on, just get the arrow button. It's just kind of, it's just
that's something I've always meant to pick up was a hunter, just because I know the like archetype behind it is relatively like easy, I guess.
It's like the easy mode, essentially.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it's like I played a mage, and I'm going to be playing a mage at some point in the future. And the mage, if you time it right with their ice block, then it's good.
Trust me, mage is super fun. It is super fun.
It is. I had one that it's not gone much into Legion, so I need to work on that at some point. I had a fire mage. It was just fun to go like, ooh, I'm a fireball.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I will say fire mage in PvP is pretty upsetting because they just like polymorph into greater fireball and you're dead.
Yeah.
It is not fun at all.
Yeah. I mean, fire mage is fun, but they're also pretty frail. So it's like if you're questing with like a fire mage, be prepared to die a lot.
Oh yeah. And see, that's why I love playing melee classes. Because it's like, I don't have to sit here and kite. I just smack you in the face until you die.
Yeah.
Well, and that's why I like with my hunters, I can just let the
pet tank. Exactly. Yeah.
Okay. That's good.
Though a few times I've had the pet die, I'm like, why am I being attacked? Oh, they're dead.
Yeah. That's why you have to keep an eye on them. You're not supposed to let them die, Frazly. You're not supposed to let them die.
But I can just re-res them.
But I like leveling with a healer alongside me, which is why I've been enjoying going with Michael the Blue Recluse. So Wednesdays at 9 p.m. Eastern, we've been kind of leveling for 45 minutes to an hour. And I've got a gnome hunter that I've been leveling, Manx, who's up to level 29.
Okay.
And it's great. I can just have my pet go out, and I now have Little Bear. Then I've also got Fluffkins, my mechanical bunny.
Oh, yeah.
I have them attack stuff, and then if I start dying, Michael's there to either laugh at me or heal me.
That's
I will say, leveling as Disc Priest was pretty easy. I don't know, it's shields and then free healing. If anybody's around me, I'll throw a shield on them and heal them a little bit. Like it's just, I've had a very good experience with it.
I believe Disc Priest gives you the best of both because you get the DPS output of Shadow with the healing of Holy and the shields.
Yeah, the shields makes it easier.
And Leo Wild makes a great point that one reason why I like the Beastmaster is it's like having a party when you're soloing. You can just let the party go, and then if you get stuck, you can use acceleration and beast giraffe and stuff like that, and they have like your pet get like huge and stuff like that.
Yeah, I think that's kind of like the same thing for like arcane mages too. Like you have like arcane blast you get to spam, and then essentially it's more about like burn and then replenish. So usually I like to call myself like an arcane turret. So it's kind of like you just kind of go arcane blast, maybe arcane missile. And then I would have to like reload, just kind of like just do evocation, and then just like, all right, just keep going, keep going.
Did the cooldown on evocation go down at all, or no?
I think so. I don't remember. I think it might be a talent thing, isn't it? Or I think it was like an Azurite thing where they changed evocation, where if you do evocation, you get like 2 charges of like arcane power or something like that. So, for example, if you ran out of mana and you use like what was the name of the spell that kind of like releases the bolts, and like after you do Arcane Barrage and you do Evocation again, it actually replenishes 2 charges. I think that's an Azurite power, or it might be a talent thing. I don't remember. But I remember kind of like at some point, whenever I do Evocation, I get like 2 charges back. So that way I'm able to kind of like, still pump out that damage. Sometimes I'm able to do like crazy numbers with it. And all I have to do is just keep doing the Arcane Blast and just keep pumping it out. Just kind of like, just do that. But of course, once I can't do evocation again, do the cooldown, then I'm like, oh boy, I am in trouble now.
Serve like real bad.
Yeah.
It sucked, honestly. Yeah. Well, not that it was bad. It's just like when you were in your downtime, you had like nothing to do.
Yeah, that's why I'm trying to like get another character for alchemy, so that way I could get like all these mana potions that I could give to Magic Tea. It's like, okay, here's a whole bunch of mana potions. So in case that happens again, you can actually still do damage.
And maybe you should just take a look at it. But going to like the main inn in Borealis, buy some water.
Well, I can also just like conjure up.
Oh yeah,
I could conjure food.
Gosh,
that's one of the coolest things about being mages. You can actually make food so you don't waste money on it. And you can also teleport to any city that you want. That's like the best thing.
Oh, yeah.
Like I could just go to Stormwind without even thinking about it.
One of my friends who still plays on Horde side, his main is a mage. No matter what it is, I love playing it with this mage because it's great story. So anytime that we're done with a dungeon, I always give him crap because in Legion, when we were doing a Mythic Plus, I think it was like a +9 or 10. So it was relatively hard. And we actually got really mad with it. It was before they fixed it so you can't break a key. It was like mid-Legion. We broke like a level 9 or 10 key, and we were like, I was upset at the team and not at him. I was like, hey man, can you give me a portal to Dalaran? And it was just like, I was done for the night. He made a portal to Crater of Dalaran instead of regular Dalaran, and he didn't notice it. I click on the portal, I fall and die. I'm just like, oh my god! I was so mad.
Oh man!
I give him crap anytime now, and I'm just like, hey man, are you gonna give me a portal to Crater of Dalaran? He's like, ha ha ha, you're so funny.
Oh, and that spell was so hard to get, especially I remember sitting at that recipe vendor for like days to get it, and whenever I get a new mage, I'm like, oh no, people rush in and out. It has a limited quantity.
Yeah,
of course, mages would definitely want to use them. We worked hard for that.
But it was funny in Legion because it's like most of the time you would get a portal to Dalaran, so you see Dalaran on there. On like you don't read the actual text, you just look at the picture. Like, okay, it's Dalaran, sure, and fall down to the ground.
Nope.
Well, and technically, there's an old Dalaran in Northrend, so of course you can. Old Dalaran. I'm going to go to the Northrend Dalaran.
Yeah, it's always kind of confusing if you think about it. Like, you think that you're going to the Broken Isles one, but then all of a sudden you go to the Northrend one. It's like, wait a minute. Like, like that's why you have to carefully read your spell tests just to make sure.
See, that's one thing I wish they would let us do is with the old Dalaran Hearthstone. I wish they would like let us change the place we can set it to. Like, granted, Dalaran's not a terrible place to have it set to because there's a lot of portals there to go everywhere. It'd be cool if I could set 2 Hearthstones rather than just one. But one thing that I did notice, the conquest currency, so the currency you get for doing assaults and I think some PvP, maybe, I'm not really sure, but it's pretty much the Warfront currency. When you get, I think it's 300, you can spend it on a 395 ring. Granted, that's a really good ring with good stats, but the use on it is another Hearthstone.
Oh yeah, that's right.
It sets it to the main faction. So that way you can set your other Hearthstone to somewhere in the opposite faction. So you can set, so like if you're Horde, you can set it somewhere in Borealis, or on Kul Tiras, or if you're Alliance, you can set it somewhere in Zuldazar. So that way you can port between. That way you don't have to use your boat if you don't want to.
Oh,
that's awesome.
Yeah. I mean, I kind of do something similar like that, but since I'm like a mage, I could just teleport back to Borealis like anytime I want. So it's like, yeah, the ring will be useful, but I'm not really going to use it as a Hearthstone for Borealis. I could already do that. Like, I could just like, all right, I'll just go back to Borealis. I don't know this.
Yeah, some people don't have the luxury.
Okay, I get it.
I think that is saying that the ring is a 30-minute cooldown.
30, okay, yeah. I figured as much.
Yeah, I think it just need to time it right.
Oh, absolutely. That's why at least I finally changed my upgrade to be, if you're near a Flight Master, you'll get instantly teleported back to Borealis, because that's made it at least easier when I'm over in Zuldazar, I'm able to instantly go back to Borealis instead of having to fly from where I'm at to somebody to fly back to Borealis. But you know what? I think it's probably time soon for me to head back to Ironforge as well. I'm not a mage, but I made my own teleporter. So thank you both for joining me on FrazlCast.
Thank you. Yeah,
no problem.
This has been like really fun. I would really love to do something like this again.
It's always fun being on the show.
Yeah.
I will definitely have both of you back because I've enjoyed getting to know both of you, and it's always fun. And this is what I love doing the show is I love meeting people. I feel like I meet people more behind the mic than I even do when we're chatting. That's the funny thing.
Yeah. I mean, I just really just like the whole like format of it. And I just realized we've been like doing this for like 2 hours.
I know, it's so much fun.
Oh man, it's going to be like
just forget that time exists.
Oh yeah, it's thankfully not as long as our like 3 or 4 hours to rows I used to do.
Oh yeah, I guess it was different then because we had especially like your first like 20 episodes where you had like 5 people on at once. Oh my gosh, yes! Those lasted so long.
Well, I remember one episode where Sash was actually yelling at it, rightfully so, because they were trying to say at that point, and everybody else is like cutting in. And like,
oh man,
I now thankfully the software I'm on right now limits me to 3 guests, and I try to keep it to I'll only do 3 if I time it wrong, but I try to keep it to 2 because in that way it lets both of you breathe and stuff like that, and we're not like fighting for table space and stuff like that. Though, Metal, can you move over a little bit? You've been hogging the bench a little bit more.
Oh, okay, yeah. It's these benches are kind of small. I mean, even though you're a gnome.
Yeah.
I keep trying to tell the barkeep to improve the benches.
Smash 2 benches together. I mean,
Yeah. At least, yeah.
I've gone under a race change now. I'm no longer a night elf. I'm a Draenei now. So you got to make more space for my hooves.
Yeah.
You're huge.
Yeah,
yes.
You're pretty freaking huge. Yeah. I'm just a little elf that's just kind of like, oh boy. Like,
so where can we find both of you on the interwebs?
So you can find me on Twitter at Kai SharkyBoi on Twitter. I also have my own WordPress website, which is sharkyboystudios.wordpress.com. And you can also find me on Twitch at Kai SharkyBoi. But yeah, I usually post my stuff up on Twitter. So keep an eye out for me.
And Metal, where can we find you?
You can find me on Twitter at MetalXperl, METALXPERL. You could tweet at me. I'll get a notification on my phone. I don't always have my phone on me at work, but I'll still see it. You can find me on Battle.net. You can add me, MetalXperl, hashtag pound, whatever you want to call it, 1297. Add me. I'll play Hoarder Alliance with you. It doesn't matter. And then you can find me on Discord within the CTR Guild and on the FrazlCast, the Sparks fan Discord as well.
I almost forgot to mention I'm also on YouTube too, so look for me on YouTube, which is Kai SharkyBoi. So
yeah, I have a Twitch as well, but I don't stream here. I'll probably stream when I get home. I'll probably actually start that up. Frasley, I'll have to get with you to get some more info on that.
Oh, absolutely. And if anybody has questions, stuff like that, I'm always willing to share what I've learned, because I typically, when I do that, I learn people will bring up points like, have you ever thought about this? So it's been one of the best things. I just looked, my teleporter has a 15-minute cooldown. How did Blizzard let this? Oh, I better not say anything. Otherwise, Blizzard, the fun place, they're going to make my Hearthstone be 2 hours of a cooldown.
No.
And with that, I'm going to teleport back.
Activating customized orchestrated transporter.
I'm back in my home of Ironforge until we one day reclaim Nomergon. And this has been another episode of FrazlCast. I want to give a thank you to Nate for the resub. We leveled in Warlords and had a fun time. And they just became affiliate. And they got emotes and sub badges by Pirate Poots. So definitely check out both Nate and Pirate Poots. And I want to make sure that I thank Zorts, Michael, and Epic Insanity for their subs as well. I'm trying to not forget anyone. Your subs and bits mean a lot. All my past and current subs and my cheers, every one of that helps motivate me and encourage me. So thank you. And I got an awesome new review from Delarvia. I hope I said your name right. Thank you so much. The title was Gnome-tastic Good Fun. And they said, yes, that was just for you, Frasley. Aw, you're awesome. And then they go on to say, however, I do love the show and the guests you have on. I enjoy the format and how you engage not only your listeners, but the guests as well. Please keep up the great work and the streams. Oh, thank you again. Wow. I'm speechless. Just it's things like that. When you are having a day where you're trying to get everything going and everything done in time, and then you get a review, you get subs, you get bits, it just makes your day. So thank you to everyone. And thank you for listening to this episode of FrazlCast. So I'm Frasley, and you can find the show at gnomepodcast.com. Until next week, be awesome. Okay, I'm all done with the script. I'm going to throw it away.
Frasley, pick that up now or you will be exterminated.
Oh, I'm sorry, Drone. Sorry, Drone. Okay. Everyone, I was not littering an Ironforge. I promise. I was throwing it into the trash can and it fell down. But be very careful on Ironforge. They are getting very, very picky about littering.
Cart full of kaboom can't keep course. It's Overly Dramatic News. I'm Hunts the Wind. While goblins are without a doubt far more skillful at creating mechanical devices than other races of the Horde, their obsession with explosive capabilities over all else can often lead to them neglecting other elements of their designs. I came face to face with this reality recently while repelling an Alliance assault upon the deserts of Vol'dun. In an effort to defeat a platoon of Stormwind tanks, the goblins deployed some ARPEDs, remotely piloted explosive devices. I took control of one of the small drones and attempted to guide it towards one of the Alliance's metallic monsters. But I quickly realized that the goblins had put almost no thought into the virtual reality interface I was using to see through the drone's eyes. I was locked into a view just a few feet ahead of the bot and spent the next several hours aimlessly steering it out into the endless sands. Eventually, its battery died, and now it sits somewhere in the middle of nowhere, never to fulfill its explosive purpose. Speaking as an engineer myself, all I can say is that when it comes to goblin technology, even their best efforts often lead to nothing more than opportunity lost. Broadcasting across all Azeroth, I'm Hunts the Wind. Check out the archives at overlydramaticnews.com or follow me on Twitter at Hunts the Wind.
FrazlCast is a fan podcast that covers Blizzard games. We are not affiliated with Blizzard Entertainment, Inc. Views expressed by the host and guests are their own. Some of the art, music, and sound effects come from Blizzard games and are owned by Blizzard Entertainment, Inc. No copyright infringement is intended.
Want more awesomeness every week? Visit weeklyawesome.com. Weekly podcasts to make your week better. Remember to smile and be awesome.
This show is brought to you by Dragon Powered Studio. Find more at dragonpoweredstudio.com.